Welcome to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee, an intimacy guide, surrogate partner, and professional cuddler. We're here to talk about intimacy in a much broader view than what you probably think. Most people think about intimacy as sex. We're going to break that apart here. Welcome to the lab. Welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. As I recorded this months and months ago, today is Sunday, November 9th, as I'm finishing the editing so that I can release this episode. I wanted to make a special note. If you're watching this on video, whether on Spotify or YouTube, you're going to see my dog Dax pop up at the end. He was there for the whole recording. And I'm sad to share that Dax is no longer with us. It really touched me to see his face pop up in my editing. And I want to give this as a bit of a warning to those in my community that know that he's gone. And I didn't want his face to surprise you in any way that you weren't prepared for those that reached out, knowing that his final days were coming and wanted to share your love. I so appreciate it. As you can hear in my voice, it's been over a month, and it's still pretty raw for me. I certainly miss him, and I also am appreciating the spaciousness that my life can afford now. He is missed, and he is loved by me and clearly a lot of my community. So thank you. And now I'll give you this episode with my friend and colleague, Nathan Young. Welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. I'm excited to introduce my people to Nathan Young. Nathan, why don't you give a little introduction, and then I'll kind of talk about how I came into your orbit, or you came into mine, or
there was just a collision.
Collision.
They all just happened. Yeah. All right. My name is Nathan Young, and my specialty is storytelling and narrative, and I have worked for like 12 years now helping people tell their stories, and this kind of happens on a personal level and an organizational level. Work with a lot of mission-driven people and organizations and leaders, and I feel very blessed to be able to do this work. I stumbled into it through hosting like live storytelling shows and events where we talked about the power of narrative in our world and how it affected our perception of ourselves and the world around us. And people started to approach me and say, like, hey, can you like come teach this? Like, my company will pay you money to do this for us. And I said yes, and things just kind of evolved from there. So that's kind of like the long part, or the short version of it. The big thing I'm doing now is I've taken everything that I've been doing and the ways I've been talking about storytelling and narrative for the last decade or so, and I'm coalescing it into a framework I'm calling narrative leadership. And it's just a way of understanding how to align our inner and outer narratives. So we're sharing the story that really resonates with us as far as like the vision we have, the world we want to create, and finding a way to share that out in a way that's going to resonate with our audience too, as a story that they can see themselves in and get behind and get excited about and have faith and trust in you as the leader of that story that you're telling.
Yeah. I mean, we're in such a world now of like self-branding, right? Like I am my brand, right? Yeah. Like I when you think about the long-term vision of like, what are you building to pass on? I'm like, when I die, my brand dies pretty much, right? Yes. Like, because it's so much me.
Totally. Well, so I'm curious. I'm going to ask you a question here too, but hopefully it doesn't like throw us off too much. But one of the big things I struggle with is just this idea of like, all right, I got to like make a brand of myself. I've got to do this. And I'm just very conflicted about it. On one hand, it's kind of fun actually, to be honest. But on the other hand, it's like a little bit weird and exhausting. And it just feels kind of strange that like, this is how the world is now and how I have to operate as a person in this world. Like, if I want to work for myself the way I am, like I've got to make myself a brand. And that's weird. I think it's weird.
I think it requires figuring out what your boundaries are about disclosure. And I mean, I'm really fortunate in that I kind of am client number one for myself, like, or my husband is client number one. Well, I'm not sure. We kind of when I think back when we met, I had a lot of work to do that I didn't realize I had to do. He definitely had a lot of work to do. I knew that, like, I could see that. And so much of how I, like, my driving force in my work is to take the lessons I learned from him and how he's loved me through that process and, like, pass that forward. So yeah, my story is my brand and how why I show up in the space, and that's part of our story together, you and I, Nathan. And that, I think I met you before COVID. You were doing some kind of gathering. Do you remember what it was? Like, can you remember the title of it even, or not?
Oh yeah,
It's something about, I feel like it was about men.
Okay, yeah, I think that was like just one particular event I did, but yeah, the whole program was called The New Narrative, and this is like the speaker series I was doing, and then I started doing these smaller events as a part of it, where I wanted to create a community out of it. So rather than having like one big event a year, I'm trying to create like weekly or bi-weekly events, and one of them was a discussion event series, and it was the whole idea was like these World Cafe discussions where we have these different questions that people have from table to table. And I think the one that you're referring to is we had a discussion like, what's up with men?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And I think COVID hit, or maybe I moved.
COVID hit.
It might have been the move. Yeah, I remember it was super cool. And it kind of reminds me of what I love about this space is like these questions and diving in. I love that space. That was a great space. And I think it was Tiffany Compton, our mutual, that maybe sent me an invite or shared it on Facebook or something. And
I feel like we were connected before that, but really? Yeah.
We have a lot of mutuals that are not all from the same world.
Yeah.
Like you know Arash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a world where Tiffany is from, right? So like there's, when I think about if I went on our Facebooks right now and figured out who our mutuals were, it's a variety of different San Diego communities. And that's kind of cool. So maybe we were, I don't know, but I do know that since then, you've played a pretty intricate part of a lot of my self-discovery.
Oh, okay.
Whether it be the self-discovery of what I need moving forward or understanding how I got here.
Okay.
Right? Like, I want to give you a lot of props for that. You've been the space that you hold, like in your coaching, and I just, for the people at home, I went into a plan with you to like create, like I wanted to create my story better because I feel like my story is so important to my work and people learning like why they want to connect with me. And in the end, we ended up writing my why. I think we pivoted, and that was really helpful. But I definitely got an outline started for whatever day I want to start writing my book. I figured out a lot of stuff. But I remember one of the big moments, it felt like it was a form of like narrative therapy. And I had this like aha moment where I realized that when I sit in space with my colleagues and there's this talk about, like, well, did you ask the client blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And I realized that in my history, asking questions was really dangerous. And that was something I put together with you, was like, I have to kind of rewrite that automatic kind of nervous system response of like, don't ask questions. And so I've been working on that since you, right? It's
So I'm curious, like, how has that changed the way that you've operated since you've been making that shift?
I'm more aware of it, right? So I think in slowing down, it gives me some space to remember to do that thing that doesn't feel natural to me.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Yeah.
What about, I'm going to bring it back to my little like storytelling thing here too, if you don't mind. Like, what do you feel like was the story you were telling yourself about why asking questions was dangerous?
It just, my father did not handle any kind of feedback or anything that was perceived as, how do I describe him? He was a hot-tempered dude, right? And so you learn to anticipate, right? I was which my old therapist told me made me really great at what I do because I'm so attuned with my surroundings.
Right? Yeah.
I can anticipate people's needs so easy. Now there's that weird line of like over anticipation where I have to walk the line of, I think I know what you may need, but I might not be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where in my 20s, I thought I was right. I was sure that I knew what everyone was thinking, what they need. Like there was a, I don't know, typical 20-year-old false confidence, something.
Yeah.
But it was a combination of my father was really scary. And so asking questions was really scary. And like in not knowing everything was really scary also. So another space that showed up in my life outside of asking questions to clients was getting a mentor the first time. I was so afraid to have someone really watch my work because I didn't know how to have like constructive feedback that didn't destroy me, right? And a lot of tears, but a lot of like a corrective emotional experience to have someone give me feedback, but it didn't mean I was a bad person, right? So these things that we trap from like such a young age that as an adult we go, well, of course that's a silly, like, why would you think that? It was just the way my body that held those memories. Or the last way questions were bad was that we lived in a house of complete disarray. My mother was kind of a hoarder. The place was a mess all the time. You did not answer the door. Right? If somebody came to the door, you pretended no one was home. My mom would even lie to like the Jehovah's Witnesses and tell them that my father would torture her if she talked to them. And we would hear all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of reasons that privacy was really important. And to me, questions are invading privacy if not consented to.
Yeah. And so on some level, it sort of sounds like the story was like showing too much of yourself is unsafe, and like asking questions, asking for help, asking for mentorship is like unsafe.
Well, the questions to me, I didn't want to have the questions asked to me as a kid.
Oh, okay.
And so I get into like maybe a little over empathy, or I don't want to put somebody else in that space of feeling uncomfortable by the questions, which is funny because now I come on a podcast and I ask questions where we try to be uncomfortable. It's so
well,
great.
you know, this is how we heal, right? We end up doing.
No, I think it's practice.
Yeah.
It's absolutely practice. And I think it helps build the muscle. I think I said this on a recent episode. Like, I have enough confidence in myself that I know I'll be okay on the other side of it, no matter what I share. Right? I have my own inner, I'm not giving that inner part of me away. Like, I've got that solidness that I'm good. So I could say the silliest, stupidest thing or most embarrassing, right? Like, tell your most embarrassing story and then nothing will ever embarrass you like that again. You know what I mean? Like, I've had those stories where I'm like, I have a sex story where in the moment I said to my partner at the time, I'm not going to get into the details. I feel like it's too much. But I said to him, this may not go well. And if it does not go well, we will never talk about this ever again. And he said, okay. And guess what? It did not go well. But give me 6 months and I can laugh about it and I can tell the story and it's not a big deal, right? But in the moment, it's horrifying.
So you say we're never going to talk about this again, then you went and talked about it on the podcast and he's like...
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure I've told the details somewhere and maybe probably on the show. So often people come to me and they're like, oh, I heard you talk about that on your show. And I'm like, wow, I went into that much detail. All right.
Well,
I love a good story.
Yeah.
That's what we have in common, I think.
And I mean, like, this level of sharing opens the doors for other people too. That's like a big part of it is that, I mean, it's wonderful that we have this much more open world about all these things that were like so taboo for, you know, for me growing up as well. And like, I think culturally, all this stuff was very taboo also. So just to even like speak it out loud was not what you did. And now here we are just like speaking it out loud, throwing it up on social media. Everybody can see it. I mean, it's
episode 21. I broke down having sex with my friend. Like,
okay.
Maybe you haven't heard that episode yet,
no.
But we did a sex experiment. He's a gay man. He was
Okay.
curious.
Okay.
I'm all for new experiences. And afterwards, the first thing I texted him was, "Can we jump on Riverside and record our debrief on this tomorrow?" Because I just knew that if we tried to recreate it,
Yeah.
like if we had the debrief and we tried to recreate it, it would never be as good.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be my absolute favorite episode.
Okay. All right.
Because it's so real. It's
Yeah.
so like it's so me. We did not edit anything out of that conversation. Now, did we disclose every detail? No. But anything we talked about, we left in.
Interesting. Okay.
And so, yeah, that's a huge like move away from like not being sure how to like let people in, whether it's in my house or in my head or in my heart or in my body. It's a big shift. Yeah.
Here we are.
So anyways, are you ready to play some games with me?
Let's do it. I'm in. It's Friday.
All right.
We'll play some games. Got big weekends ahead of us. Let's
Big
kick
weekends
it off
ahead
right.
of us. All right. I'm not going to debrief my weekend on Monday, but okay. So the first level is perception. So how we perceive each other.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to ask the question, and then we're both going to answer it for each other. So the question is, do you think I've ever been fired from a job? And if so, what for? And I have to think about this for you.
Okay, and I've got to think.
And I've only ever known you as self-employed, and you've only ever known me as self-employed.
Yeah, totally. I know. It's funny because I'm thinking of like both ends here too. But all right, so yeah, which one of us answers first then?
If you've got something, you can run with it.
The story I'm telling in my head is that I'm guessing you got fired from a job when you were young, like high school age. And, one of those jobs people had in high school, working at like a frozen yogurt shop or something. I don't know. Okay. And the reason why you got fired, I don't have a clear idea of that. I mean, I'm just speculating. I'm just kind of like rolling, The reason why you got fired, I don't know, maybe just like the boss just didn't like it for some dumb reason that people don't like other people. That's the best I got right now.
Cool. I mean, I'll give you the truth.
Okay.
I've never been fired.
Never been fired. Wow. Okay.
I was the teacher's pet kind of person. So I think I was people pleaser mode.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I fired a boss when I was in high school. Like, I think it's my senior year. I was working in an office for a carpet cleaning company.
Okay.
And the guy pissed me off so badly. I can't even remember why, but I remember coming in one morning and I printed off my own paycheck. I said, "Sign it, I quit." And I walked out.
Okay.
I don't remember what he did or anything, but I had the attitude of my father, very much my father's daughter in that sense. And I was just like, this is unacceptable. I'm out of here. Okay, interesting. And the level that it had to hit probably for that to be the case was probably rather high.
Yeah.
Because I was not a confrontation person back then. So
yeah. My impression of you, as you told me about your stories and stuff, is like a younger person, you would have been much more submissive or non-confrontational.
I was a rule follower.
Yeah. And so I was imagining like you were kind of getting like picked on a little bit, and that maybe would have been like the 1, 2, 3 of how you got fired, but
Thankfully, I was in that middle ground of people where I was smart and I was athletic. I don't feel like I ever fit in with either one of those groups really, but I floated I stayed under the radar pretty easily. Okay. So yeah, I really, I had an easy time until I became an adult, and then adult problems hit life.
Well, it's funny that you make it sound like easy time, like in a relative sense, because you just talked about like
comparatively, I guess, like that was my normal. Yeah, Michelle of today couldn't go back into that space and call it an easy time at all, but that was like I always go back to that analogy of like a frog in a pot of water, right? And like it was the slow heat. And it goes back to like even the idea that I look back and when my sister's son was diagnosed with autism, he's a spitting image of my father.
Oh, wow.
And me and my sisters kind of looked at each other and went, oh shit, I think dad was autistic. Well, if that's what we considered our norm, we're all looking at each other like, yeah, we're all probably a little neuro spicy, you know, like it's, it just was what we grew up around as being normal.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I don't know. There's a lot there where I'm like, that's what I like. That's the things I gravitate towards is the neuro spicy crew.
Yeah.
Probably because of my father. My mother, I can look back and say she certainly was like ADHD, but undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Just looking back, I'm like, oh, that's that feeling of inattentiveness I had from her, which I, of course, did with my kids.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about, like, because, I see, you get older, you sort of see your parents for who they are a lot more also. And then you start to learn about yourself. And then you're like, oh, they probably had that too. So,
yeah. Compassion has taken a long time to show up.
For sure.
But even the other day I was driving to Phoenix and I stopped off, not on purpose, but on purpose kind of. I waited to get breakfast. I had a meeting I had to get on, and my colleague Keely hates people chewing food. And so I avoided getting breakfast when I stopped for gas in Yuma, because it's always the spot you stop to fill up because you get the Arizona gas taxes. And, it's just, every time I drive to Phoenix, I have a plotted plan, right? And I was like, I'll wait on breakfast. Well, the next place I could get breakfast once that meeting ended was, I can't remember what it's called, Gila something. It's a little...
It's like gas station town, like Gila. I know what you're talking about. It's on the freeway there. Yeah.
Yep. There's a McDonald's there. That is the last place I saw my father alive.
Oh, wow.
19 on my drive to Baltimore. That particular McDonald's, we met up there. I hadn't seen him in years. Wow. We met up there as I was driving cross country into the little rendezvous there. And that's the last place I saw him. Now, I've driven past there a couple of times since then. And I always have mixed feelings about it because it's like, that's the last place I saw him. He didn't try to fix our relationship and what have you. This time I stopped and I was just appreciative. I didn't have so much of the hurt. Like, it felt like it was just lighter. It was good.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
It does.
Yeah. So, okay. Back to the question. Okay. I think the last time you worked a regular, like, not for yourself, it ended in a firing. I'm just making up a story here, of course. I'm going to tell, I have no imagination, but I'm going to create one here.
Okay.
You were so irritated by that firing, you started your career, right? And it was probably because you told a story that was too revealing and it got you fired.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's that's true.
But it's kind of fun to make up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No,
I left in good standing with my last job before completely going on my own. And actually, I worked for the Fleet Science Center in Balboa Park. I was doing marketing there and stuff, and I ended up going back when I was like needed some extra money and doing some freelance work for them. So,
didn't burn a bridge.
No. I left in good standing. I actually like really loved that job, and that was like part of what convinced me that I needed to work for myself, though, because I was like, I really enjoyed that job, but I was struggling so hard. And I liked the people. I liked the concept behind it. I liked what I got to do, but I was just having such a hard time with like the day to day of that 9 to 5. And I had bigger ideas and bigger plans. And I realized like, I've had many jobs and I've been fired multiple times. And just to be like, all right, if I'm struggling this hard here, this whole like job thing isn't gonna work for me.
Like just the 40-hour, like,
Yeah.
capitalist, you show up like a robot every day, whether you can or can't.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's so funny. Now I understand so much of my own tensions around that related to like ADHD and neurospicy and all that stuff. I don't think I'm like super neurospicy, but I definitely have like ADHD for sure. One of the tensions that I realize now was like very much there in retrospect was, yeah, it was an office and it was like quiet and I just like couldn't do anything. I struggled to make anything happen for myself, to get anything done there. Another thing that I do for myself is I take a long break in the middle of the day usually, and I'll work from like, 8 until about like noon or 12:30, and then I'll take a break and then kind of pick it up again around like, could be anywhere like 2, 3, or 4 o'clock, and then I'll go for a couple hours from there. And that's usually, you can't really do that when you have like a sort of 9 to 5. And
Yeah.
my whole, like the second half of my day was just like a waste every
Mm-hmm.
time. And then I suddenly got like a burst of energy, like right at 4 o'clock, right as I was like, well, should I ride this out or should I leave? And so I was like working late all the time. Um, and I think I also just struggled with like, being perfectly honest, like kind of working for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm always been very self-directed, and I feel most comfortable in that realm when I'm like deciding what is going to happen and what work I'm going to do. And I think there's a neurospicy element of that as well,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're working for yourself, you have to like challenge. Like it's easy to let self-directed work take you down a path that doesn't actually like make you money.
Oh.
Yeah, this is what I want to do.
Life fulfilling versus making money are always the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
or even like the things that like, you think you're on a path to making money, but just sort of like where you're focusing your attention on that path isn't necessarily like the direct A to B towards making the income that you want to make either, which isn't necessarily like a problem unless you're like struggling with income, which I have many back and forth throughout my own entrepreneurial journey too. So
Yeah, I'm very lucky that I have a partner.
mm,
I think that is a lot of privilege in the sense that I have a partner who technically makes enough money that if I didn't
mhm,
make enough money,
yeah.
we're not in a pinch.
Mhm,
I remember, so you were part of my decision to take sex out of my work.
mhm,
Mr. Nathan just says, I'm getting my life coaching certificate and I need to do these like video
oh, that's right. I remember.
sessions.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was.
And I'm like, I love time with Nathan. I
Mhm,
will sign up for this
mhm,
call,
mhm,
right? And then you're like, come with like some kind of dilemma or something like that. Like, what
yeah.
are we going to work on? And the question I wrote was something like, when do you know it's time to work the practice you want versus the practice you
Mm,
have?
mhm, mhm,
And the words at some point in that call, the words I'd already worked through in my personal life that I was worth more than my sex,
mhm,
right? That was the deprogramming that really had to come out of my
mhm,
first marriage, was that I had value beyond sexually gratifying my partner.
mhm,
And I mean, I literally thought that was my contribution to the family because I was a stay-at-home mom, that if I at
mhm,
least got him off every day,
mhm.
he would be a nicer person to live with, and that would be how I contributed to my family.
Okay.
So you and I are sitting there,
Mhm,
and the words, I am worth more than my sex, in my work came out of my mouth,
mhm,
and I couldn't put it back in the box
yeah.
because I've worked so hard to stop self-abandoning,
Mhm,
and I trust my truth.
mhm.
And like as I said that, I was like, oh shit, I have to change my
Yeah,
practice.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So anybody at home complaining that I'm not that I stopped doing that part of my
It's
work,
my fault.
it's Nathan's fault. No, I'm
You put
kidding.
it
It's
on
my
me.
fault.
Yeah.
You created the environment to be
Mhm,
able to say that.
yeah, yeah.
Like you
Well,
are helpful in that space. Clearly I could have avoided
mhm.
that, but I run into the fire.
Came out.
So
Yeah. No, totally.
yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And then I felt like I would fail. And then my husband said, don't worry about it. Even if you didn't work, we'll be okay. And I'm like, I won't be okay. But that's how this whole story circles back to like making money versus doing what we want to do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that you've gotten so much out of our time together that way, because I mean, it is always interesting. I don't do as much coaching as I used to, but when I do, I still love it and appreciate it, because so often you're just the mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're talking stuff and you're just kind of answering, or just asking them a little bit deeper, saying like, well, I'm seeing this conflict right here. These two things are conflicted. Like,
yeah.
What do you think of that? And like, oh, I never saw it that way before.
Well, I remember listening to an interview years ago on a plane. I found the interview because I was so interested to re-listen to it all these years later. It was about the myth of self-regulation. And what they were talking about was that even when we're by ourselves, we're still co-regulating with a memory, right? And part of that conversation, it doesn't tie exactly into the co-regulation part, but something she said was like, we all have the answers. We just need a safe place to talk it out. And so part of our skill is to help create the safe space. I don't think we can like dictate it to be a safe space, but we can, I call myself like a scaffolding, right? For them to do the work they need to do. And our chemistry worked in a way that it made it really easy for me to have these big ideas and these big realizations that would, change the course. Now, I've said, like, if I ever was in a situation of survival, I could add that back to my work and know that I would be okay. I would be okay financially. I don't know what that would do to my spirit if it was something that I didn't want to have my work based on. But it is something, I mean, it's all about how you frame it in your head, right? Like, this experience, this sex experiment with my friend, takes me right back to how much I love teaching in that space and helping someone experience something for the first time. I love that. So it's not like I couldn't go back there. It's just knowing that I'm in choice about it. And my choice is not to do that, at least not in that specific container of work. There's things about that container of work that just don't work for me. And it's just, learn thyself, figure out what works for you. And for you, it's, you need to have a break in the middle of the day. I'm a very similar. I'm really good in the mornings. And then a lot of times it's just following what I trust myself. And I'm like, oh, you need to get up and move around or change locations, or sometimes just take my dog into my bed. And sometimes I'll even bring my laptop with me in case I get inspired to jump back into the work, but I might just be watching Sister Wives. You know what I mean? Like, I love a good, I call it, conscious dissociation, right? I've made a conscious choice to dissociate for a while. And that's reality TV for me.
I mean, that's rest too on some level, right? Like, yeah,
it's just how we all get to choose the way we want to do it. Find the thing that works for you. And sometimes it's like, it's a very introverted thing to do. And that's how I recharge. And sometimes if I have people around me, I might even invite them to come in and watch the show with me, but don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, just watch. You can be here with me, but I can't talk to you right now. I am I'm done in the talking world.
You need that downtime.
But mornings and afternoons, because like I bring my computer with me, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I get an idea, and I pop back on my computer and get back to work and pause the show. And but it's the absolute freedom to be able to do that whenever I want to. And part of that freedom is allotted to me because I have a partner who's making sure that the bills can be paid and that he supports, he loves my work, and he's so understanding. And I don't know how I got so fortunate, because it would be a very different life.
You got fortunate. Take it. Take the win.
I take it. I'd like to run all the way to the bank with it one of these days. right?
Yeah.
One day you say, one day all this work will pay off. One day it'll all pay off.
And then he can quit, and you'll be pay it back or whatever.
I don't know. When I first met him, I was in love with the 36 questions to fall in love. Do you remember when that came out?
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. So those at home, there was a study done that if they took these new couples on their first date and they had them answer these questions, the chances of them staying together were much higher because they had shared some kind of vulnerability. And one of my favorite questions from that, which I asked my partner, not on the first date, but it was a couple months in, what would your dream day look like? It's one of my favorite questions to ask because it really shows you where people's priorities are and values are. And in his dream day, he would go to work.
Okay.
Because he loves what he does. He's a video game programmer.
Okay.
And he loves that world.
Yeah.
And that means so much to me. I love my work. I don't know that it hits my dream day because there's only 24 hours in a dream day, and I gotta be at the beach for part of that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also, gosh, talk about life satisfaction in my work. Like I imagine you feel this way because I feel this way about having you be part of my story. But the how awesome it is to be part of someone's story. And I'm totally a part of so many people's story that I love. If I could make all that be part of my ideal day, I totally would.
Wow. It's really special to be able to, it's like a privilege and a responsibility to like be able to live a life and make a living doing things where you're like helping people grow and help people change their perspective and write a new story for themselves. So totally.
I get to be a new co-host in that story that they have.
I don't know if I would make it my dream day, but
I wouldn't be mad if it showed up in it.
Yeah. I would say like it wouldn't be a dream day, but like if in the course of like a dream week, it'd be
yeah, because like I said, 24 hours is not a lot of time.
Yeah. It'd be like maybe, two of the days of the dream week.
I have a good solid work day in there.
Yeah, just
good solid work day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean a good solid work day where I'm in client time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
not like
for
admin.
me, like we talk about like the desire to work for ourselves. And me becoming an owner at Cuddlist this year is so great because all the things I've ever wanted to do with that company, I can do that now. Like I never wanted to give them all of me, but now I can like really invest in a different way than I could when I was just an employee, right? Like there's I feel like I only have so much creative juice, right? And when you have I have my own practice, I have to not give all my creative juice to somebody else's project. I should be putting it into my project.
Yes.
And I've been in the background of Cuddlist since 2016, and I've had to hold that back for, I was operations for like 2016 to 2020, and then I took a break and I came back in 2023 as a director of training, and I had really good boundaries around my time and energy. But when I became a co-owner, now I'm spending way more time on Cuddlist stuff, but I love it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right. It's like, I compare it to like a horse race or a horse being held back from a horse race. Right. And then you finally let them out of the gate and they take off. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt, is like, I've been held back. I've been holding myself back with good boundaries to not over participate. And now that I'm a co-owner, I'm like, yeah, I can do all the things.
So now that you're a co-owner, is like, what part is helping you do that? Do you feel like there's going to be a more like a reward for putting this extra effort into it, or do you feel like you need to now have a little bit more like power to do the things you want, or is it you just have this sort of big dream and you want to go for it?
It's interesting because as an owner, what's really fascinating about buying into Cuddlist is that Cuddlist, and I agree with this is part of the reason I bought in, was that we have a real desire to have a zero profit model
Mm-hmm.
So all of our people are paid the exact same rate, no matter what their job in the company is. We want to reinvest in the company and in our people. And so I get paid the same hourly rate as everybody else. So there'll never be like a dividend on investment kind of thing. It's not this. My sister calls me after the announcement. She goes, "Oh, this is great for retirement." I'm like, actually, I expect to earn nothing outside of my hourly from this investment. But what it is it's a commitment to the industry. It's a commitment to like shaping it, to being an influencer in that space. I take my background in surrogate partner therapy and like see what is possible in what seems like a really simple cuddle space, but offers so much potential. And I get to be a part of helping the world understand that or tap into it. It's also incredibly hard work and very defeating at times. Like I woke up Tuesday morning feeling some imposter syndrome, comparing myself to some of my colleagues. Work has been really slow. I think it's the new administration and all the, the contraction of the economy and I just had a day of funk where you question all your decisions and I haven't had one of those in a while. And I let myself have it, and it included a big nap. Like it just did. I was supposed to have a call actually with our mutual Arash. We were set to talk at 2:00 that day. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, forgot that I had a plan to talk to him and crashed out and just took care of myself. And I think I had like one meeting I had to take later that like late in the afternoon. And then I went back to bed again, and I woke up the next day refreshed and, maybe not 100% ready to go back and fight the good fight, but I wasn't in the funk that I was in the day before. And I don't think you can ignore it and expect it to pass.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just going to lay and wallow in it and let myself totally. Like sleep it off,
Yeah. It is interesting how working for yourself is such an emotional ride too. And I don't think that was quite part of the story that I anticipated. And I've had some emotional jobs in the past too. So like I was used to having that kind of be part of the spin, but this was like, it's been, you just like, you're in a funk and you're got to struggle. Like the struggle sometimes is like working through it or just taking some time off, laying down, and I struggle with that too. Cause I'm usually, my answer is usually, well, we'll just like put my head down and work through this. And it has its, sometimes the funk just needs to like sit with you for a while too. And it's like not really matter what you do about it. Just give yourself a day or two and maybe it'll go away. Like that's my experience at least.
Yeah. So, I did like, what do I need right now? Question. And I thought, well, my husband's working in the living room because that's where his desk is set up as we both spend. It's so weird that we spend like all day, every day together, even though we're not together, but we both work from home. I'm like, what was it like before then? And so I just walked out and I like walk up behind his chair and I just put my arms around him from the back of him. He's in the middle of programming and it probably wasn't well thought out. It clearly wasn't well thought out. It wasn't the best plan, but it was the thing I thought I needed at the moment. And then he put on his fix-it hat. Unfortunate for our DNA. He put on his, I'll help Michelle fix this. And that's not what I needed. I just needed a long hug. Right. And he started to like, well, what if you do this? And what if you do that? And I sat down on the couch and I went, if I wanted to intellectualize this, I could do that myself. And then I said, I think I need to use the bathroom now. And like exited, stage left and let him go back to work. And then that night at dinner, I said that, that wasn't really what I needed. Right. And he goes, I kind of realized that I kind of just put my, I'll fix it hat on. that's not what you needed. And I was like, no, it wasn't. And I also, the timing of me coming right in the middle of you being in your engineer brain is probably not helping either. Right.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a blow up or anything like that. It was just kind of like, that didn't go as well as I would have liked.
Yeah. That was a point of tension in my relationships during pandemic, because when I'm in work mode, I'm like in work mode. And then if my partner wanted attention, I have to be like, okay, what's happening? What do you need? Like, what's going on?
That is almost exactly what it felt like with him. As I knew in the moment I was catching him completely, asking him to context shift so stinking fast.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Was he like, I don't know, babe, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? He's just like kind of typing and stuff? Or
no, he's gotten better at being more present. Okay. He will stop what he's doing and literally orient his body towards me. He's learned his lesson. It's been 9 years. He's learned how to be more attentive. But it was that we forget to ask, what do you need right now? Rather than just assuming you need me to help you come to a solution. Yeah. And I would have been like, either a nice long standing hug, or do you have 5 minutes to go cuddle? Like one of those things. And I take responsibility for not vocalizing that. But no worse for the wear.
Yeah, you figured it out.
I'm better today. I'm ready to take over the world again. It's fine.
Got it.
It's fine. We're all good. Okay, where was I at here? Okay, we finally got to level 2.
Okay, yeah, we made it 1 card in here so far. But okay, let's do it. I told you. Next card.
Okay. How would you describe the feeling of being in love in 1 word? I want to put asterisks of okay, let's talk about what does it mean to be quote unquote in love.
Yeah. And is this, I'm
that word?
Answering for myself now, or right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But how do you describe the feeling of being in love?
Yeah, there's sort of 2 things happening for me thinking about that. And I'll give thrift to the 1 word for one of these things. Because there's one, or no, I do like the 1 word, because there's one version of it where it's just you're elated, and I'm feeling it right now. You just sort of that feeling in your chest, and everything's sort of great, and you just feel wanted and needed and connected to someone, and a lot of it can be very easy to feel just kind of untethered and floating around when you aren't in love or aren't in a relationship, and what am I doing? And life can feel kind of empty, but then you do, life just feels very full and wonderful. So is that. And then the other direction, I would say the 1 word is chaos. And this is what I've been unpacking for myself the last couple of years. I didn't really realize this about me until recently, but it's just sort of an emotional roller coaster for me. And I didn't really realize that and how much that was happening, or just to be sort of caught in the wind of it all. I'm just a kite in the wind of my own emotions, and the wind just gets so much stronger when you're in love. And then especially when you're having tensions and conflicts with each other. So you're talking about the coming out in the middle of the workday and having a thing, and this is a very common problem in my last relationship, where especially when we're suddenly working at home and stuff, and I need to work very hard to get myself into a place of focus. And so when my partner comes out and she needs something, I love her, so I'm going to try to provide it, but I'm also in the middle
derailed.
of something. Yeah, derailed. Yeah. And so I sort of struggle to be okay. And then and it takes me about I've realized about myself too, it takes about 5 to 15 minutes for me to shift gears that way sometimes, if I'm not expecting it. And so in that 5 to 15 minutes, anything can happen where I am addressing the situation in a way that's unhelpful for her. That could even be upsetting or just disappointing. And then now we've got a whole different conflict on our hands. And I'm still what's happening? What's going on here? And then I'm still part of my brain is you didn't finish that email. You didn't finish that email. You didn't finish that email. Your partner needs help. Email, help, happening. When did you eat last? Like just all this stuff starts to like happen and just get very like derailed and disoriented. And then you just kind of like, oh God, oh, this is so, okay, what's happening? Oh, yeah. It becomes sort of internally frustrating. And then I wouldn't really necessarily let that frustration come out. And that was like another thing. And then, you know, at some point, whatever happens, happens. And I'm trying, okay, back to work. But then it's like another like 20, 30 minutes to like, all right, where was I? What was happening? What window am I looking at? Which window? That. And like you just go down a different path. That fucking email. Like,
yes, all of that. and this is how I felt through having young children, was the same kind of pull. Like, I think in retrospect, I don't think I was a good mom. And I don't think I really enjoyed motherhood for that reason, is I don't do well being pulled in multiple directions. Like, I'm very like rigid in that email thought. Like and now I know enough about myself to say, and I can say this to an adult differently than I could say it to my children. I don't think my children would have ever got it. Hold that thought. I have to finish this thing, and then I will be able to give you my full attention. But that was a maturity I didn't know about myself, you know, back in those times. And even with Paul now, here's a confession. I'm really good at staying focused when it's a scheduled session. Like, I said this to a client one day, you know, he said something like, we were playing a yes/no game. And he said, could we go to dinner together? And I said, as a client or as a friend? Because I'm going to show up differently. And he's like, tell me more. And I was like, if you're paying for my time, you have 100% of my attention. It is so easy for me to show up in that space. The container is very clear. You have paid for 1 hour of time. You have 1 hour of my attention. I'm not thinking about groceries. I'm not like, I am solely focused on you. It is so easy for me to do that.
Yep.
Outside of that space, I am multitasking constantly of like, I'm talking to you, but I'm going to check my email, or I had that thought, I got to write it down real quick before I lose it, or whatever. And so like when the tables are flipped and my husband comes in and says, oh my gosh, I got to tell you about work today. I have a really hard time changing context of whatever I'm doing. So for me, it's better if we go for a walk together to have that conversation, because there's no other distraction. If we're just sitting here and my computer's in the way or my phone is close by or anything, I have such a hard time. But I also have a ton more compassion for my mother in retrospect.
Yeah.
Those feelings though of abandonment because she couldn't pay attention to me, those don't go away.
No, totally.
But I understand that it wasn't about me. Like intellectually, I know that it's reprogramming the subcortical brain.
But it's like, you know, our hunter-gatherer primal needs in a capitalist society show up there. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's no, it's interesting what you're saying about all that, because it's definitely like I think of my own parents in that regard too, like how they probably were quite stressed about it all and didn't quite know how to cope or manage it, and there wasn't conversations about coping or managing with it at all. And maybe it was the days before internet and stuff, so on one level like maybe it was easier, but on another level it probably was a little bit
different.
Yeah, different. You know, there's probably still plenty of challenges, right? So
yeah, I mean, my mother was in an abusive relationship. I was in an abusive relationship. Like generationally, we recreate. I was in the same relationship my parents were in. Do my kids look back at that and go, "Oh, well, mom had all these other stressors"? Probably not. It's, I mean, knowing how that inner child piece works, our inner children aren't thinking about the full context of the space. We're incredibly egotistical, and everything is about us and it's our fault and all these things, right? So like, I think it's just part of like the self-compassion is able to now eventually spill over into compassion for my parents.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they all thought they were doing a better job than their parents. I'm 100% sure that they thought that.
Well, and maybe they were.
And maybe they were.
Yeah.
They were doing a different job for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Can I throw an idea at you about like the other piece we're talking about of like, you know, when we're want attention from our partners and they're working and like whatever. I've had a thought that like I'm wondering if there can be sort of like conversations about consent around asking for attention too. And like
absolutely,
like, hey, can I have your attention? And give me, you know, the ability to say like, not right now, 5 minutes, you know, and like be able to say it like that, like not right now, like 5 minutes, you know, or whatever. And like, I need some emotional attention now. Can you give it to me? Like not right now, but like in like half an hour or something, you know, like I can start to prep myself to be available to offer that to you shortly. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get in that space, to be able to have that for you.
That is like senior level regulation, right? Like I think in an ideal world, and I've been picked on at times about the level of consent that I talk about, of like even asking someone to consent to a conversation, or this is the same thing, consenting to a conversation, a very specific one. But I think that is about like, we're both adults. We have our own shit going on.
Yeah.
That part that doesn't slow down enough to ask that question, almost to say, can I schedule time with you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's that inner child kind of stomping my feet and saying, but Mom, why aren't you listening to me? You know what I mean? And it's getting that, like acknowledging that part of myself that really wants what I want right now, because it's uncomfortable and I want to stop the discomfort. And this is my person. I feel confident that they're going to be able to stop my discomfort. So then in that space where he doesn't stop my discomfort, I'm patting myself on the back that I didn't blow up. I may have said a few rude things in my head, but I kept them in my head, right? I'm like, oh, I can see what's happening here. He's trying to fix something. That's not really what I need. And at that time, I didn't feel like I had the skill to say, time out. That's not actually what I need right now, but I understand that you're not available. Instead, I didn't do any harm. I just said, yeah, I could intellectualize it myself. It wasn't said in like a rude way, but then I just exited the room and I didn't hold it over him. I addressed it later just to like call it out of like, that was a mismatched situation, but it didn't have to turn into like, you don't care about me. Yeah. I'm not the most important thing in your life.
Has that ever
all
happened?
The things that my
like...
inner all the things my inner child would probably love to say.
Yeah.
Getting a hold of that, it's like I feel like I'm a goat roper or something. Like I can watch myself in the moment and be like, oh, this didn't work out the way you wanted it to. And it's okay. You know, like, but I'm not always like that. But I'm better.
Yeah. It's interesting as you're saying all this, like, and I'm very much seeing it from your partner's kind of perspective, and how many times that's like turned into like a major fight or disagreement or something. And I always wanted to scream like, yo, this is unfair. This is unfair. You asked me for something out of the blue. Like I was not ready. I was not prepared. And like, I couldn't play by some rules that were like, that I didn't know at the time. Like I would never do that. Like, that's like my sort of like inner child being able to like put adult words on the thing, but just being like, yo, like, no, like that was, you should like, that was fucked up.
Both sides have like I came into the relationship with like, I don't know, Disney fairy tale ideas of what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
He came into the relationship with just a lack of experience and he had a really stable household. He didn't like he hadn't dealt with conflict and like I say stable. They were stable and they didn't have a lot of conflict. I think you can have conflict and still have stability.
Yeah.
But there's been so many years of me blowing up and feeling and blaming him that he wasn't taking good enough care of me and he didn't care enough about me. And I've been on the side of the ugly response, right? And the not being able to really step into his shoes and see what he was dealing with at the time, and that there was more in his life than just what was happening to me in that very moment, right? So I don't want anybody to think that this is how we've always navigated this relationship at all. There is maturity happening all the time, and I'm glad because I get to do it a different way. And there's always another chance to do it a different way. And there's always I get to change the narrative of what that means. Right? I chose to not make it mean anything about me. That's a long place to get to.
Yeah.
It's a really long place to get to. So, but it's a much nicer story.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think okay, so let's go back to the question about the feeling of being in love. And I'm gonna
because he's going to question.
Well, because I want to focus on the part of it where it says in love. Because I feel like we put that in a different context in our society of the difference between love, like I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And what does that mean? And I just think the in love part is the drugs. It's the falling in love.
Like
it's
that
out of control.
3 to 6 months.
The new relationship energy, if you're familiar with that phrasing, or the chaos you mentioned. Like, to me, that's not about love. That's about euphoria and the high of getting these things. I'm gonna probably need to edit this pause out, but I want to pull up. I want to pull up.
What are you going to pull up? Tell us.
I'm going to pull up some words here. Just a minute. I got to find the right text message.
Oh, okay.
I met somebody at dinner the other night and they turned me on to this book and I'm reading it right now. So, she turned me on to a book called How to Be an Adult in Relationships, The 5 Keys to Mindful Loving by David Rico. It's an older book. The 20th anniversary edition is the most recent out. So it's been around a while. But they talk about the 5 A's that like we're always looking for. In the areas that we're looking for most are the ones that were not met by our parents.
Okay.
Right. So the 5 A's are affection, attention, appreciation, acceptance, and allowing. And if those needs were met when we were young, we are not searching for them so like frantically.
Okay.
And what happens in the beginning of a relationship, all those A's are being met because of all the excitement and energy. Right?
Let's hear them again. Tell them, what are they again?
Yeah. Affection, attention,
okay,
appreciation, acceptance, and allowing.
Yeah, totally.
So there's some phrases that come out of this, and I'm curious how they will land with you. I am paying close attention to you now. I accept you as you are in this moment. I allow you to be yourself. I appreciate you for what you have been and what you are. And I have real affection for you no matter what.
Those are nice.
Those are how we feel early in relationship.
Yeah. Feeling like the receiving end of that.
Yeah. So we got to figure out how to meet some of those needs for ourselves so that we're not putting all that on our partner.
Yeah, totally. And being able to like kind of, but also like be able to bring them back around when you need them, you know, for your partner.
Well, and for yourself, and like what they brought up, there's a I got like a preview watching an interview that a podcast he had done. And they talk about like when you have that cycle of breaking up and getting back together, like some relationships do that a lot. It's because it brings all those 5 A's back up and they're all getting met again. And then it falls apart, not falls apart, but falls off. Right. And so like, to go back to my thing of like that feeling of being in love, I don't really want to feel that. Like I it's interesting. You know, I'm very settled in my relationship. I think there's a long enough history that I don't doubt his love and care for me. And we're in an open relationship, and I have really deep, meaningful friendships with lots of people, and they can go all sorts of places. And I was recently asked, by one of the people I hang out with, do you think you fall in love easily? And I was like, no. I love everybody. But if you ask me about falling in love, I hope I never am back in that place. Because to me, the way it translates in my system is that I'm looking for something from somebody else that I'm not giving myself. Because that's what it represents to me in the past.
Yeah. Did you used to fall in love easily?
Oh my God. I also thought that every man that came in my life was going to be the one that rescued me. Because I never could have considered that I would be able or needed to rescue myself.
Yeah, totally.
It was an outsourced job. So when I was married to my first husband, any man that gave me attention, I was in love with. And I had a whole fantasy about how he was going to rescue me. We would run away together. It's kind of gross. I mean, the version of Michelle that I am now is just, there's a little bit of like, I had to do a lot of therapy around just the shame of having that, like that was in my bones.
Yeah. How much of that do you see? Because that's also like a young thing to do too, right? And how much of that do you interpret as like
maturing?
Yeah, maturing versus,
I mean, we all mature at different ages. Some of us never probably mature in that. I think it is about emotional maturity, though. I mean, I think that as I've grown, what in love means to me is just different. I can't see myself saying to a partner, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like, I don't use the word like, I never think in my head, gosh, I'm so in love with you. I don't know. That phrase doesn't run through my head. I think I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I think, I don't know. It's kind of like love is such a very overused word. And it's not that I hold it back, and I'm not afraid to approach it with people, but love to me is just about care, and it's choice. That's how I see it.
Okay. Yeah, you're getting at like my next question too is like, do you think there's a piece where you're holding back, or do you worry there's a piece where you're holding back and not allowing yourself to feel that out of like a fear?
I think I got to feel it with my husband back when I was earlier in our relationship. So I don't think that I think I went through it with him. And I don't know what it would be like if I was single and out in the world. I think as a non-monogamous person, I don't overly emotionally invest, maybe. Yeah. I think he's the one that knows me the best. And I don't think I share that part. I don't think I share all of me with everyone. As much as I share so much. I don't think anyone knows me to the degree that he knows me.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Like, I will talk to him about the darker, shadowy stuff, where I don't talk about that with a lot of people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious in your like sort of because I've dabbled in like polyamory, but never been like full in. And like one of my experiences with it though was that to the degree that I dabbled, and like it was more like I just was dating multiple people at the same time, and it wasn't like full on relationships. But one of the things I sort of liked about it was I got to be like just different sides of myself with different partners, and that was fun. And none of them ever like fully knew me, but they knew like a part of me, and like one would be like more just sort of like party fun, and one would be more like intellectual, and one would be a little more cynical, and like that kind of like different little pieces there. I always appreciated that. I guess it sounds like that comes up. Does that still come up for you though, even after all these years? And like you've got your one partner where you've been together for 9 years, and like he knows you best. Do other partners get a piece of you that maybe he doesn't though, and like not necessarily a good or bad way, just sort of like, oh, this is a space where this comes out for me that.
Well, okay, so I don't consider myself poly, but I certainly live a very poly life. Like I think I am poly, like as a person. I think of my work as like I think my clients are partners in some ways. Like it's clearly not the same as like a poly relationship, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I give a lot to these different places in my life. I really don't want to manage other relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have friendships that have different layers to them. So I don't use the word partner, but I think of like, I've been navigating this. I think this year has been an interesting topic I've had with a few people in my life of like, it's nice to have somebody in your life that's not so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship with my husband is complicated,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have domestic stuff, we have health stuff, we have all these different components, right, that aren't fun. And some of that like makes sex hard, let's just say as an example. Sometimes I'm like, this thing that happened outside the bedroom is so not sexy, right? And like I can't help but carry that into the space, and it's just not making me want to rip your clothes off. You know what I mean? Like it's domestic shit, right? And then I was talking to somebody at conference recently, and he was saying something like, I found myself kind of being a surrogate partner in a way, and I've helped a lot of people through these transitional parts of their life. And he's like, there was something that came up about, I don't remember how we got there, but I said, but you know what? Sometimes casual sex is just easier. Like it's less complicated. And so I have this little like niche area of my life. I'll just say like, there's a person I hang out with that it is kind of this little fantasy nook space, right? Where I still get the loveliness of like getting to know a new person, and like the date experience of like takes me out to dinner, and we get to like the newness of getting to know a new person without all the complications of why did you do that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but just the mundane, stupid life stuff. There's something to be said that is really lovely about that. But am I in a space of like falling in love with that person? No. And I don't even, it's not even like a thing I have to like, I don't think I'm protecting myself from that. It's just a nice little, I will protect that little corner of my life that is less complicated.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like that's a really nice thing to have, and I think this is why people should have a variety of, relationships in their life, and not just like in my first marriage is very much my partner had to be my person. And he was like, there was a problem if I was too emotionally close to other people in my life. And I just think like, I never want to be in that kind of relationship again. That's the poly, I guess, side of me, is that I want to share all sorts of intimacies with all sorts of people in my life. I just don't think of them in the sense of like, this is a partner or a romantic relationship. I just think of it as a friendship that can have lots of different components to it. So did I answer? I don't remember exactly what your question was.
Yeah, I think you answered whatever it was.
I think that I feel for people that are in monogamy, not from I love monogamy. I think all sorts of relationship styles are great for people, but there's an extra difficulty in when you have that one person and you have all these complexities and you're still trying to keep the flame alive.
Yes.
Right? Like that is a hard job, and it does not happen accidentally.
Yeah, totally.
You have to work on it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you don't have to work in any other kinds of relationships. I just want to say, like, as in the moment I'm in right now in my relationship with, like, Paul's been dealing with some health stuff this year. He's had a lot of migraine issues, and like that caused extra strain in our relationship. I got very excited to have sex outside of that relationship, just from the sense that it was easy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It didn't come with so much extra stuff. And I get it.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that that's probably how a lot of affairs happen, right? Is this becomes this little fantasy pocket.
Oh, totally. Well, it is tough too. And I think I'm going to give it the kind of gendered thing here, but I'm not sure how gendered it actually is, to be honest. But like, I think, one of the things I know that men sort of like unspoken thing men struggle with is if they sort of like let that aura of masculinity sort of fade and show vulnerability, then they'll lose the attraction, And I've definitely experienced that sort of anecdotally. I don't know that like it's true universally, and maybe it was just sort of an aspect of the relationship there, but or maybe it's like the maturity of the other person, maybe it's the true maturity of me, or maybe how just what I did was not a turn on regardless of where it was on the masculinity spectrum and stuff. But it is like when you're sort of younger and you're figuring these things out, it does be that does kind of confirm a story we've gotten from society to where you're like, all right, like that, I'm thinking of a time where I really did like kind of open up to a woman I was seeing when I was like, early 20s about something I was like just like really upset about. And she just, that was it. That was in a relationship. And I was just like, never doing that again,
Yeah.
and,
yeah.
And it's so interesting how that goes. I'm sure there's like things for women, like worry about showing a side of themselves that will turn off their husband, or like being too needy or naggy or whatever it might be. But yeah, so it is a challenge to like sort of maintain that attraction, and we have that sort of expectation in our world right now too, right? Like partners, they gotta be your sort of partner in crime for everything. They gotta be your co-parent. They gotta be basically like your business partner for whatever little enterprise you got going on in your world, whether it's just like a house or managing the house or whatever. They gotta be like the most amazing lover. They gotta do all of this stuff. Like we gotta do that for each other. And it's just a very, very tall and unfair order. And be like emotionally supportive in the middle of the workday. You need a hug.
Yeah.
And it's such a tall order. And on one hand, it's just sort of like when you're on the receiving end of somebody frustrating you, not fulfilling it, it's very easy to be like, yo, this isn't fair what you're asking of me. But we do it to each other too, right? And so it'd be like, it's I don't know what the solution is, but it is
for some people it's to isolate, right? And just say, I'm just not doing this. And I've had my days where I'm like, oh, if this goes south, I'm gonna golden girl it, right? I'm gonna find some girlfriends and we're gonna buy a house together. And fuck dating. I will just have sex for pay. Like, I don't need it. I can date for pay. Like, I can get that dating itch met, and I can pay my bills. You know what I mean? Like, it's real easy to say that.
Yeah.
The reality is I don't know what would happen, right? Like, I don't know. I'm going to choose not to worry about it unless that time comes, but it does take a lot of active work. Like, how many times has he said something that has leveled me? Not on purpose.
Yeah. Like not even
something has happened that has broke my trust, right? And I said to him, do you know how hard it is to tell yourself you have to figure out how to trust this person again? He is your partner. I don't get to just close up shop and go home, right? And I remember him saying something to me like he's never had that. The closest he had something the closest that he could relate to it. And is that just because I'm more sensitive? Is it because I don't know? Like, have I been through different things in life? Like, one of my colleagues pointed out to me, like, maybe he just holds trauma in his body differently than you do. So he responds differently than you do. Like, there's so many components.
Yeah.
And you kind of just have to go, I pull up my marriage vows. Like, I have my wedding, thank God he pushed for a videographer. And I was like, why do we need this? And I'm all like, this is more money. This is already stupid expensive. And he was like, no, we're going to wish we had that. And I tell you, it saves my ass so many times when I'm feeling like, is this fucking worth it? And I go back and I play my vows and I'm like, oh yeah, I really love this man.
Yeah.
Like, it will pass. It'll get better. Whatever happened will get scarred over, and eventually it won't hurt so bad. So it's not for the weak.
Totally.
It's not.
It's interesting what you said about the sort of like the trust component there, and how he doesn't feel like he needs that from you on the same level. And it's just I experience that too, where like the trust component isn't quite as big of a deal for me. And
Mm-hmm.
earlier when you talked about like, oh, this is my person, it's like they're going to comfort me. I don't get comfort that way.
Yeah.
And there's a trauma component there, I'm sure, of like,
Mm-hmm.
I self-soothe. I need to be like, if I'm having a hard time, I need to like,
You're like, I'll take care of myself.
yeah, totally. Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
tried to like I actually like, my last relationship, I did feel more comfortable like going to her when I needed it and stuff. And a lot of previous relationships, like I said, like didn't go well when I did go to them, and might have been the way I was approaching it, which probably wasn't.
But that might be why you also don't try
Yeah, for sure.
that again, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put your finger on the hot stove and you get burned. You don't go back for more.
Totally. It is like, and this is where I wonder sort of, and again, like that trust piece, if how much that is a sort of gendered component or where that is in our world and stuff too. Because the reason I wouldn't have necessarily said it was gendered, but I know like one of the big things, I think one of the most important books about masculinity out there is that one by Bell Hooks, like The Will to Change or something like that. And she talks about like just how part of what our culture does and asks of men is to just like disregard yourself from a very young age, and disregard your emotions, your needs to conform to masculinity. And I think that's a lot of just a kind of fundamental trauma that a lot of men have experienced that, sits with all of us. And I think one of those traumas too is that like, that happens like so core and so big, so early, that the expectation of like trust ever again is like kind of gone. Because I remember my last partner, one of the things that she said was like, because towards the end of ours, like she felt like, I don't like trust you anymore. The same sort of way, like I was going to do something bad, but just like that key piece was fading. And I remember my internal voice in that moment. It was like, I always have like 3 internal voices, but part of me was like, oh man, all right, this isn't good, But another part of me, another voice in my head was like, trust. That's cute. Like, that's a cute idea. Trust. Who trusts? Like, that's adorable. Do you think you can trust people?
Yeah.
And, it was, I guess, my emotional maturity was enough to the point to be like, that's a weird thing to think. But also I was like, but that's true. That's like, that's probably closer to where my core feeling is. And so I wonder, I haven't had the opportunity to like sort of speak this out loud very much. So it is interesting where I'm sitting with this, like to what degree is that like an experience exclusive to me, or is it a gendered experience? Is it something that is a little bit more, do women experience this to some degree too? I'm sure there's plenty that do,
I think it's a human experience,
Yeah.
but I do think our socialization definitely plays a role in it. And I want to counter, like, your socialization is that as a woman, where I grew up in the Midwest, it was like, I was expected to, we talk about guess versus ask culture, right? As a woman, I was expected to guess everything, right? The anticipation, and there was a silent contract there that if I provided everything that you needed, I would get fulfilled in return. But that was never actually so it's just like you get this like quiet resentment that builds of like, but when is somebody going to step in and take care of my needs? I'm taking care of everybody else's needs.
And
right. So there's these different social contracts that really fuck us all over.
And with those needs, I mean, there's probably a guess versus ask dynamic of those needs, or like the assumption was probably like,
you don't ask for things. That's rude. This is like asking the questions. This goes back to that initial how we started this, of like my fear of asking questions. It's that same thing. It's questions are rude.
Yeah, totally.
I remember my first husband, before we were married, he asked my grandmother some really, I thought, very personal questions. He's just trying to get some history on the family, right? And I was like, how dare you? I can't believe you would ask her that stuff. But different time, right? I was steeped in it. I remember being so mad that like my somebody in that side, and my mother-in-law had some stuff, and like a sister-in-law of mine or something asked for the stuff. And I was so mad because I wanted that stuff, but I would never ask for it. And she didn't ask me if I wanted it. And it was just God, I was so passive in my communication back then, and like how that has changed. And I don't know how I survived for all those years being I was miserable. I mean, I was checked out. I was so like, talk about like disconnected from my body and my wants and my needs. Like when I went out to my first big public event, like coming out of the height of COVID, I went to like a Renaissance fair, and I noticed I had all this panic hit me. I was trying to hold all these seats in the jousting arena, and I had tried to hold like 5 seats. And then as people kept coming in, the seats kept, by the time my friends found me, I had my seat and where my hat was sitting next to me. So 2 seats. And I said, take them. I'm out of here. And I beelined for the gate, and I run across my husband, and he's like, where are you going? I said, I have to get out of here. And the minute I crossed the threshold outside of the arena, I just started bawling. And I felt so overwhelmed. And I had a lot of processing that night to do around it. And I was like, have I always felt this way in big groups? And I just didn't have any bodily awareness. And I was so used to pushing everything down. And now I can't do that anymore. Like, is that it? Or is this a post-COVID thing? Or it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter in the space that I'm in at that moment. It was overwhelming, and I needed to get out, and I did a good job taking care of myself. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
That's how you have to look at it. It doesn't, who knows why?
No, I get it. I get it. I think all of us are a little bit like our social dynamics have all been a little bit scrambled from COVID.
They have. Yeah. We want something to blame, or at least I want something to blame. Right? Because I think the thought of me, the reality of the possibility that I was just pushing all of that down for all those years, there's a lot of grief in that. Right? And so like, ultimately it doesn't matter. And moving forward, I will do a better job for myself. Yeah. We are moving so slowly through these, my friends.
It's fine. I'm okay on time. I mean, I got a little bit, I'm not in a big rush or whatever.
I'm okay on time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much people want to listen to, but
I don't care. I make this show for me.
Okay, fine.
And I love long format.
Perfect.
We're at like an hour and a half right now.
I know. Okay. I see the counter too. Yeah.
Okay. There's our level 3 question. Reflections.
Okay.
I don't know if I want this one because I feel like actually, I'm stuck on it.
Could I say? Let's see. I probably should. Because wait, what? Okay. Oh, we're past like the 90 minutes. So let's kind of say like 2:30 is a wrap point, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll answer one more question.
Okay. Are we doing the spicy?
I like this one. Okay.
Like
we're not doing the spicy one. Okay. Do you want me to jump to that?
I mean, I'm a little bit curious. It's okay. Well, let's see. Can we do 2 questions in 15 minutes if we're like deliberate about
Let's see.
It?
Okay. Here's your question.
Okay.
What has this conversation taught you about yourself?
Oh. I think
I expect your dissertation.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of my internal observation. I don't know that like it's things about myself too much. Well, okay, here's my internal observation is just how fluid we're talking here, which is great. Like I'm enjoying that. And also, the degree to which I sort of miss this. And I don't have conversations like this as much anymore as I used to. Whereas like this is a big part of my life, especially pre-pandemic. And like I was like hosting events that facilitated this and stuff. And like I'm not so much anymore. And I'm very like I'm kind of isolated now. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I have had struggles with kind of meeting up with friends, not quite as fulfilling as I want them to be. But then sometimes too, I do meet up with friends. I'm like, like I need to do this more often, like kind of get into it. So I think I'm learning something new about myself, but I'm being reminded how much I appreciate just kind of having these like deeper conversations and what they mean. Because it's been an hour and a half. That flew by fast.
Yeah. I think we could have just had coffee and not recorded it.
Well, that's the other weird part about it too. Is like, what does it take? Like, does it take like having a podcast now to have like a deep conversation with a friend now?
I think the cards. I think the cards help.
Okay.
I just want. There's a lot of different conversation cards out there, and like, I've brought them in the car with me before. I've my date tonight. Like sometimes I bring the cards with us and we go through cards together as a different way to, we talk about different stuff when it's being directed outside of us, right? If we're just going to follow our natural conversation, we might talk about all sorts of cool shit. Like I don't doubt, like every time we've gotten together, I think it's been a great time. But I think having the cards push you into different directions that you might not naturally flow into.
Yeah.
That's what I like about them.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What did I learn about myself? I don't know that I learned, but I like you, like a reminder. I do love this stuff. Like I'll just be completely transparent. Coming up to this interview, I was like, oh, like it always sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And then I got a context switch and flip into the space and I know me and Nathan, like we have a fabulous time together. I'm sure this will be great. And the unknown it's kind of like when I have a new client, I'm still a little anxious about how's the chemistry going to be and all that stuff. But like, I really love, like, again, I love long form content.
Totally. Yeah.
And I really make this for me. And I think of it as like, how cool is it that other people are willing to let me record with them so that other people can be voyeurs in my life kind of thing. Totally. And so confirmation that I do really enjoy this space.
Yeah. Cool.
And now I'm like, ooh, I wonder if people would want to do one-on-ones of these with me just for their own, they wouldn't want it to be public. Yeah. But just an exercise in what is it like to be on the other side of it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Interesting. Cool.
I don't know. Maybe we should do events, Nathan. Maybe we should do events.
I think about it a lot. We talk offline about it.
I also hate facilitating group stuff just because all the work that it takes to get the event to actually happen is the shit that I don't like.
That's the hard part. Is it's a lot. Like I love doing it, but it's just a lot of work, and then you're kind of so busy managing the event, you don't get to really enjoy it yourself.
Oh no.
You know?
That's why I won't host a birthday party for myself ever again.
Yeah.
I got really inspired by Arash's birthday picnic thing that he does where he brings all these communities together. And I tried doing it one year and I hated it because I didn't get to spend any quality time with anybody there. Yeah. Well, like I was like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah. I do my birthdays the same way. I actually sort of like it just to like have people there and stuff. And like, I think it's like a nice low pressure thing, like in the park, but I get it. Like I don't get to spend as much time with different friends.
I'd rather have everyone, like not everyone. I'd rather have people that want to schedule lunch with me or something. Like I'd rather have the one-on-one. I'm going to take a real quick pause in our episode today and just say, thank you, listeners, for being here. If you are a listener of the Intimacy Lab podcast and you'd like to try going through some of these questions with me, guess what? I decided to make it an offer. You can learn more at intimacylabpodcast.com. I'm going to offer 30-minute and 60-minute options to get intimate with me. Join me on a video call where we will go through our own We're Not Really Stranger cards and get to know each other. It's a great place to practice. So if you want to practice getting intimate with your words, go over to the intimacylabpodcast.com and sign up for a call. Now back to this episode. So
yeah, fair enough.
Okay, you want to speed round this triple X version?
Yeah, let's do a triple X.
Okay, I'm going to try to do all three.
Oh, okay.
We're going to speed round it here.
On a card or something like that?
There's 3 levels.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Well,
so
we'll see how.
Okay. Quick answer. What is your favorite part of your body?
Favorite part of my body? Man, I didn't know that we were going to go there. Jeez. It's so funny. I'm a man. I don't think about these things the same way. I'm sure maybe other men do, but like, I'm one of those like.
You're just you.
Men. Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of men do get detached from their bodies too. It can be very easy to. It's been like think about our bodies.
So what's the favorite part of your body, Nathan? I like my curves around my hips.
Okay. I mean, probably my head, just to be honest. Like, I just like my head, my face. You know, it works for me.
I like bald men, Nathan.
Oh, yeah? Okay, good.
I like your baldness.
I've still got some.
You're bald enough for me.
Okay, good.
Okay. Does your partner's sexual history make you scared or curious?
I don't have a partner right now.
Well, in general.
Usually curious.
Me too.
Yeah. I have been scared though, but it's usually, even then, it's like a mix, like half scared, half curious, or 60-40 or something.
I should say I've never dated anybody whose sexual history scared me.
Yeah. I actually have, like, I do tend to volunteer too much of like my history to partners in a way that like has made some uncomfortable for sure. So
I am a bragger when it comes to my sexual history, and I'm a storyteller. Yeah. So like, and thankfully my partner is totally okay with that. But we ran into a problem one time. We were at a friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
And we were meeting her new partner, who was not in like the kink or poly, any of our sex positive world. And my partner's idea of like, hey, nice to meet you is, hey, I've fucked your girlfriend too. Like,
yeah.
That doesn't fly in vanilla world.
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah. So I think it depends on what world you're kind of navigating.
There's a specific park in San Diego. I won't say which one. But yeah, I've told like it was like 10 years apart, but I've like told like I've had sex with one partner in that park. And then like, 5 years after that, I was with someone and we were just like, we're in that park. It's like, I've had sex in this park. And she didn't like that at all. She was like, what the fuck?
See, that would be a litmus. That would be a litmus test for me.
Yeah. And it didn't occur to me, like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. And then, I told another partner that, and it was like kind of early in the thing. And she was like, oh, okay. Thanks for sharing.
Good to know.
Wasn't quite sure what to do with the information. Maybe it was the way I brought it up too. It was like, I've had sex in this park.
I walked into Black's Beach one time from the Torrey Pines with my girlfriend Sarah, and I've only come in that way one time. And the whole way down the beach to get down to where we usually hang out, I was getting sex stories the whole way. She's like, oh, I fucked in that nook. And oh, I fucked behind those bushes. And I'm just like, I can't track it all. Anyways, it's like a sexual tour guide.
Yeah.
I have two. Okay. I'm in the triple side and I just keep putting cards away. Okay. What about your sexuality took you the longest to accept, if anything?
Oh, geez. Okay. I think I'm not answering the question like perfectly here, but I think something I realized kind of like later in my life that I wish I kind of realized sooner was like I for a long time I got in my head that like part of what I was supposed to be doing was just like having as much sex as possible with whoever would have sex with me. And I never enjoyed it. And I think I would have preferred just, being more of a relationship person. I wasn't very good. It took me a long time to get good at relationships too. And like, I didn't really like have my first girlfriend until my like early 30s. So that was part of the struggle too. Right. But, I went through like a whore phase for a while and I was like, I really appreciated all the women on one level but I always kind of wanted a little bit more. Yeah. But also didn't want to give that much more. So
yeah, I think that you just framed up what I think is the real reason behind a lot of our ED issues.
Oh yeah,
erectile dysfunction. I think there's a comparison of like I should be able to have sex this very specific way, like Tinder culture. Like I should be able to have very casual sex, and I think a lot of people are not cut out for casual sex.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have like. To the degree I've had ED issues, it happens predominantly on like first encounters. I got like I ended up getting to the point where I was like comfortable, like, all right, hey, just so you know, like I'm not sure what's gonna happen this first time around.
Yeah.
And like most women have been cool about it. The funny thing was like it almost seems like saying it sort of made it not happen also too. Like I've never every time I've said it and it didn't end up being a problem. And
So you took the pressure off yourself.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wonder also. That's why I wondered also. Because I'm trying to think, like, but once I got in the habit of saying it, it's not like that. It's not necessarily even a scary thing to say when you think about it. But I think there is this sort of like,
it lowers the expectations. I think, like, I feel like this has been being like a dead horse. That so many women think that their partner's erection is a direct relationship to their partner's attraction to them, and it's
totally.
not.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think saying it ahead of time rather than trying to say it after the fact, and like, there's a difference between like getting ahead of it or being reactionary is like, I think that I just think it lands differently. Yeah.
No, totally. That's funny because it took me. I remember it wasn't that long ago that I realized that like women had that sort of like insecurity from their end about it too. Because I was just like, because where my mind went in a couple of times that, you know, when it would happen, it would just be like, fuck, I let her down. Like she thinks I'm a loser now or whatever I thought.
She has her own story going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in retrospect, there's definitely like one such encounter where like, you know, that was where she went, and I just didn't. I couldn't even fathom it at the time. Like,
yeah. And then on top of it, if you get the guy that goes, I swear this never happens, then that story becomes, it definitely is about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, geez, interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like two weird.
Sex is sex is like a hard, like weird Olympics. Anyways,
You know what? I could even. Oh wait, I don't want to like cut you off, but I almost want to rephrase because it's some. You know what? It's sort of like it's not necessarily about even like casual sex. Now that I think about it, I think it's just sort of like familiarity and like having sex with friends and stuff. When I think about that, that was fine and fun, and I think it was like the handful of times where I like met some woman at a bar and like went home with her or something. And I was like, this is stupid. Like, why are we doing this? And neither one of us are going to get what we want out of this, other than just to like say it.
Yeah, I think that I'm with you on this. If I was going to answer this question, it's kind of like, getting past the point of scarcity.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
Is like, there's always going to be another chance or another opportunity, or like, and it's okay if there isn't. Like, it's been really interesting with this person that I've been seeing that had been platonic for a while, and now it's shifted. Is that it was a really cool experiment to hang out with someone in kind of a dating way, but not have sex, because part of my more recent with like the asexuality and stuff is realizing how much of my sex was like out of like compulsory, like I'm supposed to do this thing, like this is what's expected, and like maybe it's the going home with someone from the bar or what have you. I did those things consensually. I at the time I had, you know, I wanted to explore and see what I liked and all these things, but I also realized a lot of sex that I've had has been because I think it's what I'm supposed to do. Right. And so playing in a space of dating someone without sex involved was really good for me, just to like, again, I'm worth more than my sex. It was a confirmation of that. Like, oh, you really don't have to have sex with this person for them to still want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
Let alone take you out to dinner and do all the dating kind of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah,
we did it.
We did it.
Speed run those sex questions.
I know, right?
It makes it easier because you don't have to dive in too deep.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe you'll come back and we'll dive deep again.
Oh, totally. That was you know, it's funny though. Like, so I haven't like dated for like the last like 3 years. I haven't had sex for like, it's been like 3 years. And so a little bit like, oh, we're going to talk about sex. So like, put much thought to that topic.
You're not familiar. What is this going to spur in you?
Yeah, exactly. I was in like, what could be on those cards? And like, sitting hearing the questions, like, okay, that wasn't too
There's a lot there. Like, I passed over some that I was like,
oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There's plenty that I'm like, yeah, no. Or I don't want to think that hard.
Yeah.
Like, what was the best orgasm you ever witnessed or something like that? Like, I don't want to have to figure that out. Yeah, I figure it's not mine.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Yeah.
So like, but I don't want to have, I can't have the memory thing. Like, no. But Nathan, it's been a hoot.
Yeah, totally. This was great.
It's also been incredibly touching, and like, I like the we've had fun and we've gone deep. and I feel like I know you better. So like, thank you for getting intimate with me.
Yeah, of course.
Where can people find you?
Oh yeah. Let's see. My usual social media handle is Nathan Cody Young. So all one word, Nathan Cody Young. Name of my company is Story Culture Consulting. So if you search for story culture on the internet and on Professional Spaces and Nathan Cody Young everywhere else, you should be able to find me.
Yeah, I'll put it in the notes too.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
If people want to look you up, I suggest it. So
yeah, Instagram at Nathan Cody Young is probably like the key, the one where I spend the most time.
I find myself putting more, I don't know if energy is the right word, but I give more attention to Instagram. If I'm going to post anywhere, it's probably there. But, I also wish I could just get away from social media.
That too.
But I don't know how to do it. I'm not that strong. So
I know.
Anywho,
I'm not
doom scrolling at its finest. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'll meet you on LinkedIn. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, it was good to spend time with you. Come back, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
I will. You too.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to comment, pose a question, or learn more about the guests often featured on the show, visit us at intimacylabpodcast.com. Please also take a moment to review us on your favorite podcast app. It's one of the best ways to show your support. As for me, you can find out more about my work at meetmichellerenee.com, as well as on most social medias at meetmichellerenee. Let's connect again soon.